Hello friends, my name is Raju. I am working as a lecturer in Government Polytechnic for Women, Warangal. In this lecture, first of all we are discussing about air gap in magnetic circuit. Air gap in magnetic circuit. So, in magnetic circuit, the useful flux while crossing air gap tends to bulge outwards, thereby increasing the effective area of gap and reducing the flux density in the gap. This effect is known as magnetic fringing. Magnetic fringing. What is meant by magnetic fringing? The useful flux while crossing air gap tends to bulge outwards, thereby increasing the effective area of the gap. Increasing the effective area of the gap and reducing the flux density in the gap. Reducing the flux density in the gap. This effect is known as magnetic fringing. Magnetic fringing. The longer the air gap, the greater the fringing. The longer the air gap, the greater the fringing. The magnetic fringing has the effects. The magnetic fringing has the following effects. It increases the effective cross-sectional area of the air gap. It increases the effective cross-sectional area of the air gap. It reduces the flux density in the air gap. It increases the effective cross-sectional area of the air gap. It reduces the flux density in the air gap. So what is meant by leakage flux and leakage coefficient? Leakage flux and leakage coefficient. The magnetic flux that does not follow the desired path in a magnetic circuit is called leakage flux. The magnetic flux that does not follow the desired path in a magnetic circuit is called leakage flux. Here in the circuit, in the slide shown, there is a leakage flux. The leakage flux does not follow the magnetic path, the desired magnetic path, and in the circuit there is a air gap. So there is a effect of magnetic fringing. Effect of magnetic fringing. The total magnetic flux produced by the coil, the total magnetic flux produced by the coil does not pass through the air gap does not pass through the air gap as some it leaks through the air. Some of the flux leaks through the air surrounding the iron. These magnetic flux lines at A are called leakage flux. These magnetic flux lines at A are called leakage flux. Here at A the leakage flux is produced. At A the leakage flux is produced. In the air gap there is a magnetic fringing effect occurs. Magnetic fringing effect occurs. Next we are discussing about leakage coefficient. Leakage coefficient. The flux in the air gap. The flux in the air gap is known as useful flux pi u. The flux in the air gap is known as useful flux pi u because it can be utilized for many useful purposes. Here pi t equal to total flux. Pi t equal to total flux. Pi u equal to useful flux. Pi t equal to total flux. Pi u equal to useful flux in the air gap. Then leakage coefficient lambda is equal total flux by useful flux. Leakage coefficient lambda equal to total flux by useful flux. Here total flux equal to useful flux plus leakage flux divided by useful flux. Total flux equal to leakage coefficient lambda equal to useful flux plus leakage flux divided by useful flux. Lambda equal to pi t by pi mu. Pi t by pi mu. Pi t is equal to total flux. Pi mu is equal pi u equal to useful flux. Pi t equal to total flux. Pi u equal to useful flux. So again we repeat the definition. Leakage coefficient. What is meant by leakage coefficient? The flux in the air gap is known as useful flux pi u, and total flux is equal to pi t. Then the leakage coefficient is equal total flux by useful flux. Total flux by useful flux. The total flux is equal useful flux plus leakage flux divided by useful flux. Useful flux plus leakage flux divided by useful flux. Lambda equal to total flux pi t by useful flux pi mu. Next we are discussed about energy stored in magnetic field. Next we are discussing about energy stored in magnetic field. Energy stored in magnetic field. What is meant by energy? Here energy is stored in the magnetic field. A part of energy causes I square or losses which can be dissipated in the form of heat and cannot be a part of energy causes I square or losses which can be dissipated in the form of heat and cannot be recovered. So when the current flows in the conductor, the energy is dissipated in the form of heat. This energy is called heat energy. This loss is called I square or loss. The remaining part is used to produce magnetic flux around the coil and is stored in the magnetic field. When this field collapses, the stored energy is released by coil and is returned to the circuit. So when we apply the electric voltage, the current is flowing through the conductor. In this conductor, some of the current is dissipated in the form of heat. That means some of the energy dissipated in the form of heat and some of the energy stored in the form of magnetic field. Stored in the form of magnetic field. When we disconnect the supplied energy, the magnetic energy is again converted to electric energy. So establish magnetic field around a coil, energy is required here, so no energy needed to maintain it. So if we want to produce magnetic field, we require energy, but if we want to maintain energy, there is no need of energy required. This energy is stored in the magnetic field. When field collapse, this energy released and is supplied to the circuit. We take a coil of self-inductance L Henry. When the current in this coil is increased from 0 to finite value T, then self-induced EMF is produced in the coil due to increase in current. This induced EMF opposes the increase in current and energy will be required to overcome the opposition. So according to Lenz's law, here E equal to minus L into di by dt. When the current flowing through a coil, there is a EMF induced in the coil. The induced EMF voltage E equal to minus L into minus L into d by di by dt. Here E equal to L into di by dt. Here energy supplied to the coil is dw equal to E into I into dt. E into I into dt. Energy equal to power into time. Here power equal to voltage into current. Power equal to voltage into current. That equal to dw equal to L into di by dt into I into dt. I into dt. dw equal to Li di. Here dt cancel. dw equal to Li di. Total energy supplied to the coil increasing the current from 0 to I ampere is integration dw. Integration dw, that means 0 to I Li di. 0 to I Li di. L into integration 0 to I di. 0 to I di. L into integration of I di equal to I square by 2. Here limits are 0 to I. Limits are 0 to I. L into, we substitute the I and 0 limits. I square by 2 minus 0. I square by 2 minus 0. That means L into I square by 2. L into I square by 2. Here E equal to half Li square. That means energy stored in coil is E equal to half Li square. E equal to half Li square. For and we are also discuss about energy stored per unit volume. Energy stored per unit volume. Here energy stored equal to half Li square. Energy stored is equal to half Li square joules of, here L equal to mu naught mu r n square A by L. L equal to mu naught mu r n square A by L into I square of mu naught mu r A into Ni by L whole square. Ni by L whole square into L. Here we rearranging the equation of mu naught mu r. Here Ni by L is equal to H. Ni by L is equal to H. That means of mu naught mu r H square into Al joules. Here Al is called volume of magnetic field. Volume of magnetic field. Energy stored for meter cube equal half mu naught mu r H square joule for meter cube. That equal of mu naught mu r B by mu naught mu r whole square. That equal B square by 2 mu naught mu r. B square by 2 mu naught mu r joules per meter cube. Joules per meter cube. Here we consider two poles, north pole and south pole, having an energy gap, having an air gap of length L meters between them, and a cross sectional area of A square meters. Cross sectional area of A square meters. Then here we take north and south poles, and distance between them is L meters, and cross sectional area is A square meters. Then the energy stored in magnetic field in air per unit volume is half b square by mu naught. Half b square by mu naught joules per meter cube. Half b square mu naught joules per meter cube. That equal of b square mu naught A into L. A into L joules. Here we take one of the poles, S pole, is pulled apart through a small distance dx. Then the energy stored will further increase. That means increased energy is equal to here half b square by mu naught A into dx. Here L is equal to dx meters. The increased energy here must be here equal to the work done to move pole by distance. That means work done W equal to F into S here. F into S basic formula W equal to F into S. Work done equal to force into distance, that is called increased in stored energy. F into dx is equal half b square by mu naught into a dx. F dx equal to half b square by mu naught a dx. Next we are discussing about different types of magnetic materials. Different types of magnetic material. Based on the arrangement of magnetic moments, the magnetic materials are four types: ferromagnetic materials, paramagnetic materials, diamagnetic materials, ferrimagnetic materials. So here the material types are ferromagnetic materials, paramagnetic materials, diamagnetic materials, ferrimagnetic materials. So what is meant by ferromagnetic materials? The magnetic materials whose relative permeability is much greater than unity are known as ferromagnetic materials. The magnetic materials whose relative permeability is much greater than unity are known as ferromagnetic materials. These materials are strongly attracted by the magnet. So these materials are very high permeability and attracted by the magnet. These materials have retained their magnetic properties after the external field has been removed. If you remove the external magnetic field also, the magnetic properties or does not change, or magnetic properties are retained in the element, retains in the elements. Those elements are called ferromagnetic materials. Ferromagnetic materials. The examples of ferromagnetic materials are iron, nickel, cobalt and steel. Iron, nickel, cobalt and steel. So again we repeat, ferromagnetic materials. What is meant by ferromagnetic materials? The magnetic materials whose relative permeability is much greater than unity is known as ferromagnetic materials. Examples of ferromagnetic materials are iron, nickel, cobalt and steel. Iron, nickel, cobalt and steel. Next one, paramagnetic materials. Paramagnetic materials. The magnetic materials whose relative permeability is slightly greater than unity are known as paramagnetic materials. The magnetic materials whose relative permeability is slightly greater than unity are known as paramagnetic materials. These materials are weakly attracted by the magnet. Compared to ferromagnetic materials, these materials are weakly attracted by the magnet. These materials are magnetized when placed in a strong magnetic field and act in the direction of the magnetic field. But the magnetic properties of this material do not retain when the magnetic field is removed. Ferromagnetic materials magnetic properties are retained when we remove the magnetic field, but paramagnetic materials magnetic properties do not retain when we remove the external magnetic field. Examples for paramagnetic materials are aluminum, magnesium, manganese, platinum, tin, lithium and tantalum. What are the examples? Aluminum, magnesium, manganese, platinum, tin, lithium and tantalum. So what are the paramagnetic materials? Aluminum, magnesium, manganese, platinum, tin, lithium and tantalum. Next we are discussing about diamagnetic materials. What is meant by diamagnetic materials? The magnetic materials whose relative permeability is slightly less than unity is known as diamagnetic materials. The permeability of diamagnetic materials slightly less than unity. They are repelled by the magnet These materials are slightly magnetized when placed in a strong magnetic field and act in the direction opposite to that of applied magnetic field. But these materials do not retain magnetic properties when external field is removed. When external field is removed, the properties do not retain. So what is the definition of diamagnetic materials? The magnetic materials whose relative permeability is slightly less than unity is known as a diamagnetic materials. The diamagnetic materials do not retain the magnetic properties when the external field is removed. When the external field is removed, the diamagnetic materials properties do not retain. Example for magnetic materials are diamagnetic materials: bismuth, copper, gold, silver, antimony, hydrogen and nitrogen. Next one, ferromagnetic materials. Here ferromagnetic materials are ceramics. These are also called ferrites. The example for ferromagnetic materials are Fe3O4, Ni, Fe2O4, Mn, Mg, Fe2O4. And also here magnetic materials are divided into two types depending on ferromagnetic materials. The ferromagnetic materials are again divided into two types: soft magnetic materials and hard magnetic materials. Soft magnetic materials and hard magnetic materials. Soft magnetic materials. The soft magnetic materials is defined as the magnetic materials that are easy to magnetize and demagnetize. The magnetic materials that are easy to magnetize and demagnetize are called soft magnetic materials. Here, the small value of magnetic field produces a large value of magnetization. These are easily magnetized and demagnetized. The applications of soft magnetic materials are used in industries, telephone receivers, relays. These are used in industries, telephone receivers and relays. And these are used in construction of core plates of transformers. These are used for construction of core plates of transformers, and also these are used for electromagnets for electrical machines. These are used for to make electromagnets for electrical machines. What are the applications of soft magnetic materials? These are used in industries, telephone receivers and relays. These are used for construction of core plates for transformers. These are used for to make electromagnets for electrical machines. Next we are discussing about odd magnetic materials. Odd magnetic materials. The magnetic materials that are difficult to magnetize and demagnetize are called hard magnetic materials. Hard magnetic materials are difficult to magnetize and demagnetize. Hard magnetic materials are difficult to magnetize and demagnetize. The applications of the hard magnetic materials are they are used for making permanent magnets, which are used to in electrical machines, and these are used in electrical measuring instruments such as galvanometer, ammeter, voltmeter and wattmeters. Electrical measuring instruments such as galvanometer, ammeter, voltmeter and wattmeters. These are used in telephones and clocks. Telephone and clocks. And these are used in loudspeakers of audio systems, lightweight earphones, hearing aids, and computer peripherals. And also these are used in automobiles for steering, wiper, fan motors.